Hello and welcome to Seatrade Cruise Talks. We're back with another episode. Seatrade Cruise Talks is a series of educational content featuring cruise professionals and industry leaders discussing the challenges and opportunities of the current and future industry climate. You can sponsor a talk to align your brand with innovative thinking and recent trends, and to receive highly relevant, engaged leads that are seeking the sort of value your brand provides. Contact us at sales@seatradecruise.com or find us on socials at Seatrade Cruise. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel for weekly talks content.
Good afternoon. Hello, Seatrade viewers. Winds Around the World, Season 2, Episode 4. And what a pleasure, what an honor to have my good friend with me, Alessandro Carollo, Director of Government Relations for the Royal Caribbean Group, but also, I can say, a good friend. Alejandro, welcome.
Yes, absolutely. Big friends. Somebody told me that you don't say you have old friends, you have friends of long standing, and that's what we are. I'm very glad you invited me here. So thank you for this. We've been working very closely in the past few years, and I'm happy you thought about me to do your second season of your personal TV show. So thank you for that.
It's an honor. It's our way to give back to the community, Alejandro. It's been through so much in the last years, struggling successes. We are back now, and I would say all your ships are now back in operation.
Yes, absolutely. A stunning amount of 63 ships. Yes. It's been amazing on the day of the international and on the International Seafarers Day as well. So we put together a couple of great moments of our industry. The restart of the full fleet on that specific day meant a lot, because whatever we do is thanks to our crew. It's all about them going always above and beyond their duties. They do it with pleasure, with a smile, and they're all happy to be back on board, and so are we, and so are our guests and the destinations we visit. It's been a great day.
I can vouch for that. I witnessed it myself. I had the opportunity to visit your newest, largest ship in the world, sailing from Barcelona a couple of months ago, and I can tell you the atmosphere, the ambience, the people, as you say, were there, friendly, smiling, very happy to be back. And we were very happy to be exploring the biggest ship in the world. So thank you for that.
Well, it's the latest and greatest, not just the biggest. All the technology advancements we have on that ship and also on the previous ones, but this one being the latest is really impressive how far we've gone with technology, sustainability, entertainment, F&B, and all the rest.
Indeed. All right. So, I know you quite well, but I need you to tell us who is Alessandro, who is Alejandro, and what is that you do with Royal, not just your current role, but also on your previous roles, which I know that were very important.
Well, I started in late 2013, more or less, with Royal. In port operations. I was the manager for the Mediterranean, for port operations. Then I had some improvements, some expansions in the geographical area, in the responsibilities I had. But I would say the past 8 years or so I've been in port operations. And basically I was dealing with all ports, terminals, port authorities, stevedores, port agents, and ground handlers. And without them both, we couldn't be where we are today. I come from that specific segment of the industry. I've been a port agent myself for 13 years before Royal. So I know very much how important it is to have reliable partners in the port agency, ground handlers segment of our business. So I was dealing with them as well as, sometimes tourist boards. We also were working on the embarkation side of our guests, terminal operations, and all that comes with it, all the way to the gangway. was an interesting job to have for 8 years in Royal.
And now you moved on to government relations, and you have an upgraded significant role, I might add.
Well, first of all, it's about Europe now. So I'm focusing on the European countries. I have another colleague who recently joined us, Jonathan, who is in charge of the UK and the Nordics. My side of the business in government relation is about Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And yes, basically the relationships involved are more about national governments, but also regional governments, municipalities, tourist boards, NGOs, local communities, and basically each and every stakeholder that is right outside the port, and sometimes also in the port still. Like the port authorities are still managed by municipalities or regional or national governments, and therefore that's where I'm working on mainly. Of course, there is the Brussels segment of my job about the EU relationships. So I think it's different. It's all new to me, but I have a great team I work for. I have great leaders, so I'm very comfortable where I am. And it's all new, but very exciting.
Wow, that's great to hear, and people to hear about your vast experience with all the spectrum, from a disembarkation to embarkation on a higher, middle, and lower level, all the levels, and that brings you in a very good position for my next question. And I mean, you see ports in terms of operators, local authorities, municipalities, you name it. In many exhibitions like Seatrade or Global or Seatrade Med, which is going to be in September, and give us some advice on what is important to hear from them when they come to see you. So when they ask for an appointment, they come to see you and your team, obviously, and they say they want more business, or it's a new port and they want to start a business. What's important to hear from them? How they should prepare?
Well, I would start from the very beginning, and that's the way I see it, is that we would like to see higher, in some cases, a higher level of alignment between ports and their destination side, which is municipalities, local governments, tourist boards, and etc. On the strategic plans they have for the ports and the destination, meaning that sometimes there are occasions where the ports and the municipalities of the same destination are going to different directions, and that doesn't help the development of the port or destination itself, because you need a system view of what the cruise business can bring to a region, to a destination, and the alignment between all of the local stakeholders, including the port, but not only the ports, needs to be very strong. We cannot have a port promoting itself at Seatrade, asking for a number of meetings and discussing about port developments, infrastructure developments, opportunities to expand piers or build terminals. And then we meet somebody from the destination, which is maybe the municipality or the regional government, and say, no, we really are not ready to further expand on cruise terminals, for example, because we prefer our port to be a pure destination. We don't want to have turnarounds, or vice versa. They want to have turnarounds, and the port doesn't want to have investments, or doesn't want to expand, or doesn't have the space or room to expand with further, piers or berths with new terminals. So alignment is key, I would say, even before asking a meeting, knowing where the port and destination want to go, and once they, realize that and agreed among the locals, then they can come and promote their port and destination according to the segment they want to develop. It cannot be all segments. It can be only a part of it. But they need to know before they go out and promote themselves?
So they have to be, in a way, good students and do the homework, as you say, and it's important to do your SWOT analysis and your trend analysis and decide as a destination. I will use the word destination to cover the port, the local authorities, the municipality, whoever is controlling the port, even the central government or local government, to align and understand what is the segment they're going to go for, the level of the cruise lines and the size. Let's not forget that infrastructure. And sometimes infrastructure is very important. Sometimes it's not so important, depending on the level of the. If you have a luxury ship, you may just attend the pier, maybe the doing the job as normal. And let me also add, if I may, also make sure that they have a product outside the port. So excursions and the desirability of the destination is also very important. So to the ports that I advise, I always say they have to do a triangle. A triangle has to do with the science being whatever port operations will make you happy. If you need to bring a larger ship, would be the depth of the port, the bollards, the fenders, the pier, the bus space, etc. Guides, availability of guides, of course, and then obviously how marketable is that destination. Do people know about this destination or not? And then of course you have to make happy the excursion team, because without excursions, we know very well that it's very difficult to maintain a regular operation or a repeating operation year after year, unless you are a world destination, and world destinations have the other problems, other opportunities, of course. But this is something which I will always advise. I mean, would that be something that you would agree?
Yes, and I would say that it would be good to see an expansion on the tours availability and choice, because we came to a point where some destinations would like to see more distribution of the traffic across the year, first of all, but also during the call, even if they have a number of medium or big cruise ships on the same day, they would like to see people to be more spread out into the destination, see different and new sides of the destination. And we all know that many of the cruise guests are repeaters, so they've been or probably been there already wherever they are, and they want to see something different. And we need to provide that choice, that type of differentiation from what they used to have in the past. And that will also help the local communities to see more people, but better spread around, and they will not feel that there are too many people in any given location, which, as you know, being Greek and being in the industry for so long, there are some locations where the perception of tourism in general, we're not talking about cruises now. I live in Venice, so we are in, very much aligned on this. People start perceiving, some sort of overcrowding, and this way, with more options for tours, more sites to visit, more activities to be done, people will spread out and everybody will be happy. Guests will enjoy it more, will have something different. Local communities will feel much better about us and tourism in general.
And not only that, we have to add sustainability in the equation nowadays. So sustainable excursions, or alter them or fix them or improve them to include sustainability. The COVID effect has also made a slight change on some cruise lines or some particular groups to prefer smaller groups, more allowed to say VIP style excursions or less people there. So I understand that opportunities are there for the destinations and for our viewers who are listening now, either their ports or the destinations or their agents, tour operators. Prepare your proposals, and Alejandro will be there to receive them and pass them on to the right team, because this is also important, as you very well said. And also, I would add the buses and the guides. And I know that in some places now, because of the COVID effect again, we are short in guides sometimes, and this can create some problems. Hopefully this in the next months or the next year will be fixed.
I'm confident it will. going back a little bit on the sustainability that you mentioned, we as a company, as a group, Royal Caribbean Group, has more than 2,000 GSTC certified shore excursion. That means that not only for our cruise lines, for our brands, but also the same tour operators that we use in most of the destinations work also for other cruise lines, other brands, and they will still be able to use that certification, and therefore will spread more sustainability on the excursion side, which is great. We do it for ourselves. We do it because it's the right thing to do for the environment, for the local communities. But we are also happy to feel that once we get one of our vendors certified, we are also certifying, on the sides, the shore excursion of competition. So we are happy to help sector and the industry also in this way.
And let's not forget that the cruise industry is way in the front line of all the tourism industry in terms of their dedication on reducing carbon footprint. The promise we made for 2050, etc., that will go neutral. And I think that people starting realizing this, and people are starting realizing that doing the cruise is something which would benefit them all in terms of of that idea. And that's why I'm so optimistic that after 23, development will be back, and we will see strong development for the years to come.
Absolutely. Look, Royal Caribbean Group, as well as the rest of CLIA members, is aligned with the long-term political objectives of the EU Green Deal. And we are closely collaborating with a wide array of stakeholders to be ready for when the Fit for 55 legislative proposal will be effective. Now, there are several angles to this, and we probably need several hours to discuss about Fit for 55. But I want to just make sure we all understand that Royal Caribbean Group is there and it's working to be aligned, to be compliant. Actually, our motto is to go above and beyond compliance. So we are there to make it happen together with all the other stakeholders, which are governments, which are energy companies, which are technology companies, and whoever can add their little bit of knowledge or skills to effectively and actually decarbonize our sector by the deadline that we all have.
Excellent. All right, let me change page and change the chapter, go back to the destinations and ports. And now I really need your tips and advice. I am a port. I would be very much interested to come and see you and your team in one of the exhibitions or Seatrade or wherever. Give me 3 or 4 tips on what I should do as a destination, as a port, to be ready to have our meeting and be successful.
Well, that's difficult because normally each port needs a very specific and tailor-made offering, meaning that there are some ports that are ready as they are now, so there's nothing to be changed. But overall, I would say a couple of things. The first one is to have the guest's path in mind when they walk through your port. What's their experience? And the best thing to do it is for port officials, port marketing managers, and so on, to walk the path of the cruise guests, be it a transit, be it a turnaround, and feel the same experience. So only in that way, doing it again and again, they will be able to understand where the difficulties are, the tweaks that they have to make, the improvements, or also recognize where they've already done a good job and they don't need to change anything else. But in my experience, there is always something in any aspect of our life, of course, but now we're talking about ports and port operations. There is always something to improve. And the only thing to do it in our case for cruise industry is to experience what guests experience. The second one, yes.
No, just a comment. When on my first day, when I started in Heraklion port, nobody knew me. I put on my shorts, I put on my hat, I went to the ladder of the ship, just a ladder, and started walking back towards the port. Nobody knew me. And I was saying, who's this guy? So I did exactly what you said, to take a feel on what's on offer. And that's the only way. When you hear people, chatting, where do I go? What do I see? Do I have a map? Do I have a Wi-Fi? How's the toilets? How's the disabled facilities? Very important. And that's
the waiting time for security, for example.
Exactly. And I will make a comment because I need to bless my beers. It's an expression we have in Greece. One of my tools in my company is my undercover inspection, which exactly covers what you just said and makes me so happy. It is my expertise to go in and witness what the passengers actually see in terms of operation, accessibility, experience, social media, etc., and give out a good report on things you can improve. No matter what system you have in the port, no matter how good you are, and many ports are excellent, there's always room for improvement, I say. And that's the comment. But you were saying, point number two.
Point number two is not in terms of importance, but because I usually think about guests from my background, but point number two, at the same level and same importance of our guests, put yourself into our crew member shoes when they get off the ship. Try to feel how it is to get off the ship after some days of hard work and you want to enjoy the destination, or even just, stay at the terminal and try to do some FaceTime with your family somewhere in the world. And you really need some infrastructure, some areas that are dedicated, but also comfortable and welcoming to our crew. And then if the port is not at walking distance from the city center, or at least from, the city attractions or the malls and etc., just try to think about arranging something for them. That it may be a free shuttle service or a low-cost shuttle service, something that is there for them to make them feel welcome and important as much as they make our guests feel welcome and important when they come on board our ships.
That's great advice, and that's something that we should not forget. And I will tell you this, the crew can spend a lot of money in the destination too.
Absolutely, and they do. They have good money to spend in the destination. They enjoy all the attractions. And actually, they are the best ambassadors for your destinations. Because once they visited the destination over and over again, because most of them stay for a season on a ship that does pretty much always the same or almost the same ports throughout the season, they go back on board and guests ask them, where should I go? What should I do? At what time should I go to that museum? Or what do you suggest to see the best sunset in, Santorini or Palma or Barcelona, wherever it is? No longer in Venice, but that's another story.
Yes.
But the point is, crew is strategic, not just for us as a cruise line or a cruise company, but also, and more importantly, for the destinations. They are the best ambassadors a destination and a port can have.
I agree with you 100%, and I think and hope that our viewers, if they're ports or destinations, they should listen to your advice. And as you say, walk the walk. Go out and see for yourself. Am I doing it right? Is there room for improvement? What do I do for the crew? Perfect. I cannot end this discussion. I always ask my guests to share a cruise story, an inspiration or funny, or a cruise story that will get our viewers interested. So Alejandro, what's your cruise story?
Well, the funny stories, most of them, I would say 99% of them, have an embargo from the other participants that were there during when the story happens. So I cannot really tell much. But I say that, first of all, this industry is great. I made, the best friends that I would ever thought. But to go back to your question, I think we're looking at India now. In India, we had back in 2019, it was May, the biggest ship that ever called an Indian port, Spectrum of the Seas. It's a quantum class ship, and it's still the number one ship in terms of size and number of guests that called Mumbai. It's been a work of, I would say, 6 to 9 months, more or less. Now I don't remember. It was very hectic back then. But the good part of that is that to make that happen, we had to pull everybody together. Port agents, tour operators, our sales representative in India, all the authorities, ministers in person. They made it happen because they wanted to show the world that Mumbai and India were ready for international cruising, and they are. They're getting a lot better. I've been there also virtually, unfortunately, in their latest cruise conference a month ago. And I have to say, what we've put together there is something that it is still, to me, unbelievable if I think at where we started. I also have some pictures to share with you if you like. But once you see the setup there and everything we've done in terms of celebration, infrastructure, it's just incredible.
I mean, I understand, and this showcases that when you do the work, you have people like yourself happy, and more work will come. And this is a collective effort. I always refer as the cruise family, and the cruise family is whoever is interested and can help on bringing prosperity and open the horizons for a destination. I always say, and I will say again, that many of your guests, of all the cruise lines guests, go to a destination as a cruise passenger and return as a normal tourist. And this is something which we should never forget. And many global destinations are global destinations because of the cruise tourism. In Greece we have a couple, Santorini and Mykonos. In other places, it's the same. And it's so wonderful to see and understand that cruise tourism can affect positively so many lives, along to all the industry. Great story, Alejandro. I think we had good tips from you on 2 different areas, and that's, to me, is very important. I would like to thank you so much for being here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Alessandro Carollo is a good friend, and look for him. I know Alejandro is a regular on Seatrade Malaga, and you can say to him, I saw you once around the world, and shake his hand in Malaga. Thank you, Alexander.
And you will get a free beer from me if you say so. I'm helping you to promote the show.
Thank you, Alejandro, so much. Bye bye.
Ciao, tata pume. Bye bye.